Hey, it's Adam with Backpack Theory Podcast, where we unpack past experiences to help define a better future. And today we are going to be discussing echoes of humility. My guest is former four-star recruit, Oklahoma Sooner, Kennedy Brooks
What's good?
on the
Yes,
podcast.
sir.
Kennedy played football for the University of Oklahoma from 2017 to 2021.
Boomer Center. Yes, sir.
Boomer Sooner. He is currently in real estate.
Yes. The
As-
agency.
as well as passive investments. And Kennedy also scored one of my favorite touchdowns in Sooner history against the wonderful Longhorns.
Yes, sir.
And we can do this on the podcast.
course.
No problem with that
Of course,
whatsoever.
Of course.
And Kennedy, just welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate having me. It's been a blessing, been an honor to meet you, to now have you as a friend, as a mentor, and as someone I look up to. So, it's been an honor.
Well, look up to, I mean, literally in the sense of rock climbing. We actually decided that we were going to go rock climbing.
Yes. Yes.
And then, we went and Kennedy did a great job. If I do say so myself, he was terrified whenever we first got there. He's like, dude, heights, but it was something that you always wanted to do.
Yes, it was on my bucket list. I always want to do it. I was terrified to do it when we first went up. I went up too high. I had to climb a little bit back down, but I eventually let go. And honestly, when you told me we're going to do these freaking burnouts, after that first one, I went back up. I just let go. I was dying. I was dying. So, but it was so fun. I want to do it again. I should think about getting a membership there. So.
Dude, I love it. Threshold is my favorite thing. That's where I take everybody, especially if we're going to do a podcast interview,
Right.
whether it's clients. I love it because that little in-between break, whenever I get an opportunity to talk to someone, right? You share those moments. And in that moment, I asked you a question. I was like, yeah, if you could really describe who Kennedy Brooks is in one word or what he worked with. And you said humility.
Yes.
I thought that was just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like for someone of your accolades, someone with so much success,
Right.
both on the field, outside of the field, just so much. And just just this specimen of a man.
Right.
For you to just say humility was just an awesome thing that really caught me a little off guard.
Right.
And why humility?
Man, the Lord has blessed me to go through hardships, but has blessed me to go through wins. And what brought me to the person I am today are those hardships. And I've been blessed to go through hard times. And I don't say that as everybody should go through hard times. I'm saying that from my experience, I needed to go through hard times to get closer to the Lord. And the Lord has blessed me to get closer to Him, to really just embrace my fellowship, to be bold in Christ. And that has brought me more joy than the game of football has ever brought me.
I love that, dude. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and one of the things that struck me as remarkable was, just the amount of coaching that you would take whenever it came to, after that first time up the wall,
Right.
you then came down and I was like, all right, we're going to put a weight vest on you. And you're just like, all right, let's get after it.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of talked through that process. We talked whenever it comes to college football, right? These elite athletes, is that something you kind of learned while you were at the University of Oklahoma, is how to become coachable?
100%. But one thing about being a great athlete, you got to be coachable. You got to be coachable. And one of the best athletes in the world are coachable athletes. They can take bad criticism, good criticism. No, I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
And be able to take that type of advice and correct it. I mean, there's always somebody that's going to tell you that you have better or stuff like that. But at some point, I mean, to be fair, it has a little bit of truth, no matter if it's from the fans or from coach or from a teammate. Even if they're getting on you, it's a little bit of truth to what they're saying. They're just telling it in a bad way. So if you get past how they're saying it and really just listen to the advice that they're trying to give you, even though they could be mad at you or whatever, you can win a lot. So that's something that I took in.
Take some humility to say that, especially on such a stage. I mean, I didn't even know, dude, 1.6. Well, actually, going from college to NFL, only 1.6% of college athletes get an opportunity to play at the higher level of some sort. I mean, and that can come with a lot of ego.
Right.
That can come with a lot of full of self. That can come with a lot of destructive cycles.
Right.
How did you really overcome that during your time at OU? What was one of the big things that helped ground you?
Dude, my friends, my family. Oh my goodness. I mean, I can call my mom and be like, and my wife made the session and all that stuff, and she would be like, "Oh, I'm glad that you, I'm proud of you," but she would go to like, "Well, how'd your grades looking?"
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like she'll go back to, but how's your relationship going? How's your relationship with the Lord going? Like she would tell me about stuff, and then my friends, even my friends from back home, we'll be on the game, and they'd be like, "Kennedy, you suck." They'd be like, "Kennedy, you suck." Like they'll just humble me, and I'm always around people who motivate me to be better, but also not let me get big enough to be like, I'm just a human being. I'm not as big as anybody else in this. And that's something that stuck around me since I was a kid, since I came to college, when I got to the NFL. Even now at my point, all those friends are still in my life because Lord just blessed me with great friends.
I love that, dude. And it takes a lot of insight. It takes a lot of wherewithal to find those kind of people to surround you. Because in the world of college football and any kind of high level success,
Right.
it's so easy to find the people that'll tell you when here. I mean, you look at Johnny Football, you look at so many of these different stories to where, you get these guys they've got all of the talent, all of the potential in the world. And some of them even performed at a very high level. But whenever it came to that true happiness, whenever it came to that true transformation, whenever it came to impacting other people, it really, it doesn't necessarily manifest the same way.
Right.
And is that something you ever struggled with? Was like, did you ever get caught up in the moment and have to cut out some of those people?
Honestly, I did. Even we can even go back to that Texas game. I didn't even recognize what happened until to really deep down to be like, oh, that was a cool moment because I was just so caught up in like myself and so caught up how I did it and how I did it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't just me. It was my teammates. It was the defense. It was the coach trusting me with the play. And then, how the blocks lined up and everything. Dude, I was so grateful once I noticed that. And I was like, I've been blessed. Like I have been blessed. And on top of that, on that big of a stage, at the Cotton Ball, 100,000 people in the stands, dude. And think about it, we did it going towards our end zone. So to see the fans celebrate afterwards, like it's just it was a dope experience. It was so dope.
That's awesome, Dan. How do you ever, like, in those moments, did you ever get caught up a little bit to where like you kind of caught your ego getting a little out of control?
Unfortunately, yes. So there have been times where you just think that you just have a great game. You just have a great game. And like you having a great stretch of games and you think on top of the world, you think of everything, and then boom bam, you get hurt or something down. Like something bad happens in your life. Or even then, like a humbling moment for me was I thought I was gonna get drafted because of how my career was. And then boom, I went undrafted. Like, bro, what? You telling me there's freaking 50, how many running backs went above me or better than me? But we literally just played a season in college football and they wasn't, but all these people got drafted. So that's a very humbling situation. So like it just changes your mindset to be like, okay, I'm not as big as I thought it was. I'm not the dude as I thought I was. You know what I mean? So I think I'm great, but these coaches, these teams, they don't think I'm as great as things. So that hurt my ego tremendously, and that sucks. And that's one of my dreams too. Not even just cross the stage, but just see my name on the thing, Kennedy Brooks. So that was a huge sucker punch in the gut.
And dude, what's crazy is that, you kind of went on this wave whenever it came to your football journey, because whenever we were rock climbing, one of the really cool stories that impacted me in relation to humility and just the amount of transparency was, you go from whenever you first got recruited, you're a 4-star recruit.
Yes, sir.
And then you actually hit a point during your freshman year where you were very isolated.
Yeah.
You actually thought at one point about quitting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, and then you go through this, we're going to come back to that, but I just want to, for the listeners, just to fill this in, you went through this point to where like, you get up, you think about quitting, then you like all of a sudden have this success build up, like your ego can you really get built up, right? Like it just gets really crazy. And then you start expecting things. And then the next thing you know, you get let down again.
Yeah.
Do you think that first experience where you kind of thought about giving up really helped that transfer over from college football to the NFL?
Honestly, yes, because I experienced it once. Because I went to a phase where I tore my labrum, my right shoulder, and I was out of the I was out of the team. Like, I couldn't play. And that sucked. That was the first time in my whole entire life I could not play the game of football. And that sucked. That 100% sucked. And then, dude, I was by myself. Football was my life.
Mm.
And this is, to be fair, it's just to be honest to the audience, I wasn't close with the Lord at the time, not at all. And I rose up, and I was raised in a Christian family, but was a Christian like all your life. You just like
It's just part of you.
yeah, it's just part of it's just part of me. It's cool. I'm a Christian, but I'm good. And dude, and I thought football was my dream, my life. And when I couldn't play, I didn't know what to do. So serious, dude. I isolated from myself, from the team. Dude, I was just playing game, getting fat. And then, dude, I was really down. And the people say to me was Smitty. Shout out to Smitty, straight staff from OU. And his assistant named Sam. I don't know where Sam's at. I wish I did. But just going there every day, working out during practice, the way they pushed me, the way they gave me courage to be the best I am today. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about who's ahead of you or stuff. Just worry about you and getting better. They pushed me so hard. It was the best I ever felt.
That's so cool. And then you came back stronger, but because, what's interesting is in these seasons, the topic of the podcast is echoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look back through your life and there's these little echoes of like where like we were becoming humble and where we had to get over. I mean, dude, I'll tell you a story. So I've done a lot of different things career-wise, but I had a point in my life to where I became a very high-level salesperson for an organization to the point where I was making like doctor kind of money.
Oh,
and dude, my ego was so inflated and like all my conversations just becoming about money, money, money. And this was after making tons of mistakes in my life. And then like, dude, literally like 2 years straight, most humbling experience of my entire life.
Right.
And it's crazy. Like whenever you go through those moments, you have two choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the choice, like, am I going to let my ego die and am I going to turn to something greater?
Right.
Or am I basically just going to turn into a ball and then like have this anger kind of build up and this resentment build up and then fall over? And I always think it's cool, like, especially with athletes and high level athletes,
Right.
whenever you see them overcome that moment to where, that humility could manifest in their life and they choose to really accept that failure and turn it into passion and something greater. And so, you were surrounded by the right people that ended up turning into having some, great career.
Right.
How did you battle whenever you were there? Like those ups and downs of like,
Mm-hmm.
that humility or that relationship with God? Like, was that a battle that you had while you were there?
100%. I didn't truly fall into my faith. I actually said this once before, but I was completely wrong. I actually fell into my full faith not longer than a year ago.
Huh.
And I said this, when I went through a traumatic, really it is traumatic, it's a sucky situation. I had a Title IX accusation on me. And that's basically saying that I hit a girl. My ex time, she went to the University of Oklahoma, Title IX situation. And that was going into my junior year. And I mean, I tell you, I had to get away from the team. I had to get a whole lawyer and everything. And that was the first time during that time I was like, okay, I'm putting my faith in the Lord. I cried in my car going into it because I was like, football's about to get taken from me. I'm being so serious. Football's about to get taken. I was this close from me because it wasn't the fact that I proved, and they told me this. It wasn't the fact that I proved that I didn't do it. It's the fact that they just think she's lying. So that's why I found that guilty. Praise the Lord, thank God. And then, but it wasn't because of what we already did. It was because that they just think she's lying. That was like a crazy moment. And before that happened, I cried like 2 or 3 weeks before that happened, saying that car like to do Brian balled out, and I said, but I'm just gonna give it to you. And I said, like licensed to play football. I got to play that following season. And that was the first time I get my life. Unfortunately, I failed, but but that was the first time.
It's those low times in our life that, God really shows up. And it's the times whenever it seems insurmountable. It seems like there's no way we're going to overcome it. It's the mountain. It's the battle of the ego as well. And you just got to really surrender and just break it down and go, I can't control this. It's something that is completely out of my control, and I've just got to surrender. And a lot of people look at the word surrender and they look at it as being this negative connotation. It's not. It's not. It's letting go of things that are not in your control.
Correct.
And you lay it down. The podcast is called the Backpack Theory Podcast. And the reason I call it that is because, we go through life and so many times we carry these burdens that aren't even ours to carry.
Yeah.
It might be what someone said about us as a child. It might be what a parent said whenever they doubted you. It might be what a bystander said in the crowd. And you hold on to these things and you let it build up and build up. And at some point, if you want to truly step into whatever you're called to do, it takes some humility. It takes some facing whatever that fear was, facing whatever that doubt is, and truly taking it out of your backpack. And if it's not serving you, you just lay it down.
Right.
And then you let it go. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's cool the way that you shared that story and the fact that, you opened up about crying in your car, because if you're high school, college, wherever, if you're an athlete and you're listening to this, there's challenges that you're going to run into, especially at high levels. And everybody wants the accolades. Everybody wants the responsibility. Everybody wants it until they get it. Mm-hmm. And whenever you get it, there's challenges. If there's someone out there that's listening to this and they're like, man, I would love to be Kennedy Brooks. What's a really big lesson that you learned at OU that could help them avoid maybe some of those situations?
Honestly, for me, it was my faith. I'm being serious. My faith by my career. So, how my emotion was, that's why my faith was lacking. I had no faith in the world. I went to a point to my freshman year, not playing. Sophomore year, played 1,000 yards. And that summer, literally, that's a top 9 situation.
Yeah.
And then literally that junior year, had another 1,000 yards. And literally COVID set out. And then literally that following year, had another 1,000 yards. And literally my faith was like this the whole time. The whole freak. And it's up and down, freaking wave. And it's it represents my life. Every time I trusted the Lord, things got better. Every time I was like, okay, Lord, appreciate it. Thank you for helping me at that time when I needed you. Okay, cool. I see my life when you crap again. And it didn't take me till I was 24 years old last year to realize that. So yeah, that's literally how what's your faith trust you and bring you around people once you see you succeed, because one, the coaches want you to see you succeed. Coaches want you, the academics want you, truly just listen to them, you're going to be successful. No matter if it's in football, in any type of business, any career you do, you're going to be.
I love that, dude. It's true. It's so true. Time out real quick and we'll edit this a little bit closer. Microphone. There you go.
So
cool. Yeah, there you go.
I don't like yelling.
Yeah. Just leave this in the podcast. I don't know. Who cares? It's all true. It's all good. It's real. It's funny. For years, I always struggled with projecting perfection.
Yes.
And we live in a world today to where, especially if you're a high achieving person, there's always eyeballs on you. Mm-hmm. There's always someone watching, and there's this unsaid pressure that can be there whenever it comes to you performing at a high level. And I love the fact that you're really turning back to your faith, and also you're going back and tracking your faith based off of these ups and downs, because that's something that you can be very, very grounded on. It takes a lot of humility to admit that there's a higher power outside of yourself as well that is guiding you in this walk of life. Mm-hmm. Was that something that you shared? Were there a lot of guys on your team that shared that same faith?
Honestly, yes. His name is Caleb Kelly. He's an amazing dude. He's still at work. He still works for OU. A great man. Ashley, sorry, Caleb. It's Caleb King Kelly. Let me get that correct. He and his wife just got married. Well, married for I think 2 years now. But
Nice.
don't want to mess his last name up. But he's someone who's super devoted in his faith. And you talking about a man freaking went through 3 major surgeries and still had a positive smile on his face, still gave energy to the team, and still somebody who pushed me when during their workouts. Later, I would never forget this. I was freaking dying at a conditioning workout. Benny Wilder was getting on me. Dude, I was pissed. I was about to walk out, and this man came up to me because he was in the same group. Told me, Kenny, brother, let this man get to you. Come on, let's go. Let's finish the workout together. Praying with him. Like since then, like he's someone I look up to. Someone like I want to talk. I don't talk to him enough. I don't. I'll be honest with you. Don't talk to him enough. Someone that I truly look up to and I want to talk to. Godly man, husband, a father, just asking for a leader, not even just a leader, but a servant.
Dude, being a servant leader is something that's so impactful and really wanting to embody that, right? Like, I mean, that's what we're called to do is serve others. And whether you're on the football play, like, dude, you know, you think about football, like, really, you're showing up to serve 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you're doing. Like, you're there to serve others. Dude, so I went to Oklahoma Christian High School. I played basketball. My biggest problem was my ego growing up. I was really quick. I could jump. I could almost dunk, but I couldn't palm the ball. So I was always an athlete. My biggest problem was I didn't want to be a servant. Like, I should have played point guard. If I played point guard, I played with Blake Griffin. Yeah. All I had to do is throw the ball up at the basketball goal, and then the next thing you know, I would have gone Division I. It wouldn't have been that hard because I would have had a ton of assists. Okay. But my ego got in the way, you know? And I mean, I think like whenever it comes to football, I think whenever it comes to anything, like you really have to have that servant mindset. Yeah. Is that something that you felt like, you know, you really grew into as a leader whenever it came to the University of Oklahoma?
100%. You know, the one thing I actually got into football is to, one, help my family and just help my friends win a state title. I wanted just to help the team like win. Right. And from literally to my senior year of high school and to senior year of college, I literally lost that. I literally lost that. I don't know where it went. I don't know where that drive went. Literally, that's the reason why I play football. And I don't know where it went. And I literally lost it. I got caught up in all these other stuff. Just talking about, oh, well, I won 1,000 yards, or I want to win a Dope Walker Award, or I want to be a Heisman, or I want to be All-American. It went just me, instead of the reason what got me here, what got me to college is because, dude, I was playing for my team. Right. You know, I was playing for my friends. And for me to lose that, and it's just, honestly, it's just sad. It really is. Like, because that's not the type of person I want to be. It's not the type of person I want to represent. It kind of just sucks that I just let myself down because I would have more fun playing college football if I would just play for the team. And who knows what would have happened then.
Dude, I love the humility that you're really expressing whenever it comes to recognizing that. Because if someone's like listening to this, like, dude, like I said, I think we get caught up in like, you know, once you get there, it's all about me, and it's not. It's about we. Right. It's about how can I give back to the people around me? How can I invest in the people around me? Right. And I love the fact that, like, I mean, dude, arguably, I mean, you were top. You're one of 4 guys at the University of Oklahoma, which. Boomer Center, greatest university ever. Yeah. But like, you know, you're one of 4 guys that rushed for over 3,000 yards. I mean, 3,300. You were 900 away from setting the record. Right. And you know, the fact that you're looking back on that career and you're like, but there was so much more that I could have done, and it didn't even have to do with necessarily your accolades. You're looking back and saying, I could have really impacted more lives. Correct. You know, and so I think that's so cool. The fact that you're looking back on that, and hopefully, if someone's listening to this, like. Dude, purpose is so much greater. Like whenever you truly find purpose, whenever you truly find that passion, that driving force, that why you're doing what you're doing, it surpasses yourself. Right. It goes out to other people. And whenever you got to that point, you had gotten through college football and you were like, all right, I'm going to the draft, and you didn't get drafted. What was that moment like?
Honestly, it was scary because, I mean, you thinking, you got your agent telling, all right, bro, I really think you're going to go 56, like, we'll see what happens. And when he got to 56, nothing happened. All right, now we got one more round left, 7th round, and they ain't going to get called. Oh, snap. Now, am I done with football? Like, what happened next? And then my agent called me, all right, now we're going to go through a phase where teams going to try to call you and see what you want. And then I had an option to go to the Cowboys and the Eagles. And my advice, I didn't just pick the Eagles. I called DeMarco Murray, the running back coach.
Yeah.
I called him and told him, hey, man, which one I go to? He's real with me. He was like, bro, I think you should go to the Eagles. Well, even though he's a Cowboy, he got drafted to the Cowboys, had a great career at the Cowboys, and then also went to play for the Eagles, had like 2 years at the Eagles. But he told me to go to the Eagles. So I went to the Eagles, and I loved it. It was fun. But that feeling of uncertainty that you didn't get drafted, sucks.
Yeah.
It absolutely sucks. It's a horrible feeling because I could have easily not got picked up. Literally wouldn't know what to do right after college. Like that could have been, I would have been. So that was a blessing that the Lord gave me the opportunity to go to the Eagles.
Did you, during that time, is that when you kind of started reflecting back on, as you referred to during college, you kind of lost some of that purpose, some of that drive?
Mhm.
Did you kind of have a moment during that transition from going from college to the Eagles of like, what is my purpose? Where did that remanifest?
Sadly, it did not happen. After that situation, I was still big headed. I was still caught up in the moment, still thinking I was the guy and that I can do it. Just go work hard and don't get me wrong, I worked hard every single day.
Right.
Gave it my all every single day. It did not happen. That transition did not happen until the following year after that. After my rookie year, went back to training camp. That's when the transition happened. That's when my faith started to build up.
What was it like going from being, Kennedy Brooks at OU, right? You walk down campus,
Right.
you go anywhere in Oklahoma, like you're Kennedy Brooks.
Right.
What was that feeling going from being Kennedy Brooks to being on the practice squad at the Eagles?
Honestly, it was the same feeling being going to high school, going to college. It was honestly the same feeling. That transition was fine for me. I knew what I had to do. Even DeMarco told me when I knew what I had to do.
Right.
And I came in there expecting that. Oh, I bet. I'm just going to fight for it. Third, my goal was to fight for the third position. The third position, you're on the roster as a running back. You're traveling to the team. You're playing. It can either be 1 or 2 snaps on offense, but you play mostly special teams. So I get to that point, I can get to being a starter because now you got opportunities. I just need an opportunity. And so I didn't get the opportunity.
What do you think? I mean, if you were going to be honestly reflective, like, why do you think that was?
Honestly, it was really because my whole heart was not in the game. I got caught up. Don't get me wrong, I love football and I still love football, but I got caught up in Philadelphia. I loved Philadelphia. I was basically a tourist out there living my best life. And I was more focused on living the NFL life and then actually being an NFL player. So that probably what got me not to be as best as I could.
So it was just the head got out of the actual game and it got caught up in the spotlight.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, that's something that's tough to do. I mean, how did you notice while you were in the moment that your focus wasn't fully there, or were you kind of oblivious to it?
Honestly, I noticed. So, like I said, there's up and downs, but I noticed it sooner, and thank God I noticed it sooner because what happened was that I would have like 2 or 3 weeks to go to practice, and then I'll have 2 bad practice, like 2 weeks of bad practice, and then I'll sit down with my coach and I'm like, bro, what's going on? And then we'll just talk about my life and everything. I'm like, oh, I'm not focused on my life. Like I'm over here having fun, but I'm not focused on ball. And then I'll go back to focus on ball. And then I was just very inconsistent like very inconsistent, and that's what like, kind of held me back for sure.
The off the field stuff. I mean, dude, whether you're in real estate, whether you're working in sales, whatever it is, dude, your off the field activities is always going to affect your performance, right?
Yes.
Like we talked about going on the podcast, and I was like, dude, like I sent you a list of questions. I was like, think through these before the game, which I would look at this as a game.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, also if you can get a chance to get a workout in, do some push-ups, whatever, like open yourself up. Like what we're doing leading into whatever our Super Bowl is in life, that preparation and that dedication on the off field, the things that people don't see. It's probably, I would say, made you great at OU. It was probably all the things that people didn't see. It was probably all the distractions. It was probably having the family that was backing you up, and then all they see is the spotlight, but they don't see the dedication that it took to get there.
100%.
And so you're basically saying that the dedication off the field was not there to correlate into or manifest into the position that you were looking for.
Correct.
What would you have done differently?
Honestly, I would have just stayed more focused into what I was doing. I knew the playbook. I knew how the system was run, but my eating, oh my goodness, I eat like a pig. My eating was so bad. Like it was so bad. And that's what held me back because I was freaking at a high percent body fat. I could have been stronger, could have been faster. That was holding me back for sure. So I was eating like a freaking pig. And my diet was so horrible. So that's something that for sure was holding me back. Not only my last year in the league, but also my senior year too. It was better than what my NFL was, but when I got to NFL, and I had to just be on my own. I ain't had what the university had for me.
Yeah.
I was eating like a pig.
They don't actually. So that transition, that was something that was my follow-up question. So you go from OU, that was a little more structure. Yeah. They had your meal plan and everything. Whenever you get to the NFL, they didn't have that prepared for you?
They did, but I was fat pig, like I said. And not only did I eat my meal, that meal they gave me also went out and ate other meals. So we'll get done at like 6, 5 o'clock, whatever, and I would eat their meal, but then I'll be up like at 9 or 10 o'clock and eating another meal.
Was your sleep schedule off as well? Like, was it just habits in general?
Yeah, but honestly, the sleep schedule was fine. Sadly to say, I get better sleep now, but I used to never get sleep. I used to be, I would get like 5 or 6 hours, maybe.
Really?
5 hours sleep every single day. I'm being so serious. But don't get me wrong, I'm used to it though. Like, I'm being so serious. I was raised in a military family. So waking up early, that wasn't hard for me. Right. So my body just got used to, and the cool thing is, which I learned, which I actually love, I used to wake up with an alarm, but since there was an hour ahead, I just had the blinds open and the sun would wake me up.
Really?
Which is so much better. Actually, you can look it up. It's actually, you actually wake up more energetic, more fine than just an alarm that's like suddenly just wakes you up out of sleep. You actually feel more alive, something like that. It's actually research done. But I found that, and that woke me up like around like 5:30 in the morning, and I was like fine.
Huh. Yeah, dude. I mean, your cortisol levels is what wakes you up in the morning. So like that big jerk basically is like your alarm system, and I guess having the sun wake up. That's interesting. So to get back on topic, whenever I have an ant there.
See,
interesting. Yeah. Just doing this thing. So whenever it comes to that transition, so you're at the Eagles. Yep. You're going through, you have become a little bit self-aware that not everything is going on. Did you have people around you that were letting you know or ringing the alarm bells during that time that you didn't want to listen to?
I'll just see my mom, because of course, if my mom didn't listen. My mom was, and really, I just didn't take a listen. I was being stubborn, being hard-headed. I was son that my mom tells me something. I was in that stage of, you don't know nothing. So you don't know nothing. I'm not listening to you, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, and that's what my mom and my dad, and they was giving me advice, they was telling me what to do. And I said, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. So yeah, the coaches there, Eagles, they was helpful. Don't get me wrong, they were so helpful. But my change started to happen towards the end of my career at the Eagles.
Well, it's interesting, whenever you're in the moment, whenever you're going through those things, you have people that start telling you, like they're giving you good advice, and you're just like, you're like, well, I've gotten this far. It's
Mhm.
also, it's interesting that whenever it comes to like, you go to like professional sports, it's almost like there's this expectation of discipline. It's like you need to have had that stuff figured out by this point. Like you need to be a man.
Yeah.
Like, you need to kind of step into it. There's not necessarily as much guidelines to like, because like, now you got money
Mhm.
or at least a little bit of pocket
Right.
change. Now you got freedom whenever it comes to, you don't have as close of a proximity. You're not living in a dorm anymore.
Right.
There's almost like this expectation of like, you need to step in and be a man and like you sink or swim, right?
100%.
But-
And the cool thing about that is the league actually like gives you classes. You can take classes to learn that, and also it's all about the people put around you. Like,
Yeah.
I have an amazing manager, D, and she managed me so well. Like it honestly would have been worse if she wasn't in my life. She would have been so much worse if she wasn't in my life. And I listen to her to this day, and she is so helpful, like my auntie. So she has helped me so much. She helped me to this day. I can't wait to repair back. So
Yeah, I love that, man. And you're going to. So let's talk a little bit about that transition. Like, how did you find out that you were going to end up getting cut from the Eagles?
So towards that transition. All right, so so I went through the whole training camp, went through preseason with the Eagles, and I was going to get cut. And we all know what cut day is. Everybody in the league does. So when we call him the Grim Reaper, you see him walking around the locker room, somebody's getting cut. So then he comes talk to you, what the deal? So literally I walked in, it's literally how it happened. Me and my friends were talking about it. So we went to the first cut day. I made it through. Cool, bad. Then we come into workouts. We come into practice for the next day for workouts. Okay. All right, we talking about it. All right, we'll see. Let's get cut today. And I didn't get no call. So that means, okay, I go to practice. That means I go up there. I go to the facility. So then get my clothes on. I always do like this morning routine during this time. And I go there. Walking up to me while I'm warming up. He's walking up to me. Hey, KB. Hey, kid. Let me go talk to you in the front. I can go kind of take you upstairs. Yeah, big dog, I got you.
So you knew it.
Yeah, like we know. Like he's the guy. If he's coming to talk to you at this time, so it's the whole process. But you get up there, pipe right in, grab your clothes, and you just leave. Get a flight back. I ain't fly back. I drove back. Actually took me to get back. I drove back and then
So did you come back to Oklahoma or did you go back to Texas? Where'd you go?
I went back to Oklahoma first, and then my stuff in the rent house. I had to go see my family.
What was that drive like?
I'm gonna be totally real. I love driving.
I do too. I love, dude. I'm headed to Colorado next, like on Tuesday, and it's a 12-hour drive, and I'm super, super excited about it.
I love to drive. So that drive is 22 hours.
I know. I used to drive. So I'm from Virginia originally, and I used to drive back and forth from Virginia to Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. So you know.
I know. So 21 hours.
Yes, 21 hours.
So like, it took you a week to get back. Are you saying like it took a week for you to get into your car?
Yeah, it took a week for me to get in my car to pack everything up, get the room, get the Ubers to get the heavy stuff. And I have a Jeep, and so I just pack all the stuff I can just fit in my car and all the small stuff. But it took me 24 hours to get back home. But the actual drive, I mean, so the drive back I love because I love looking at the country. I love the atmosphere. I love the drive was cool. Now I know what you mean though. Now the week up to the driving sucked because it's like, because you're at a point in your life where you can get picked up. So now you're on wave. So now you got 72 hours. You got 72 hours for a team to pick you up to call you, see if you get flown to them. So now, not only I got cut, I got to wait 72 hours in my apartment waiting for a call from a team. And you're just waiting. First day go by. Yeah, okay, cool. First day, that's fine. Second day, you're getting kind of nervous. So then the last 24 hours, it's like, please, let somebody call me. Please, somebody call me. And, you know, and that's where you're like, all right, Kennedy, like, you can get that call. I think we so get you back home, like stuff. And so that was not the wait sucks because after you get cut, you got 72 hours for another team to pick you up. It can be literally some people got picked up at the next 2 hours and like literally had to leave everything they had, put their bag and get on a flight, go to another team. Or some people got picked up on the last day. Like it's just when you get put up, waiting for a call. I absolutely hated that feeling. I hated cut day. I hated waiting. It sucks. It absolutely sucks.
It's very humbling.
Yeah.
So you get through that 72 hours, and then it was basically, I got to pack up and drive home.
Yes. Just don't have a job at all. At all. Contract done. Nobody, no team picked you up. You don't know if you're going to play football for a whole year. No, you don't know if you're going to play football literally that week or 5 weeks, like next 5 weeks. So now you got to stay working out the whole process for an opportunity might not come.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's whenever you loaded up the car and drove back.
Yes.
So the drive back was fun for you.
Yeah.
So you had already kind of hit the acceptance phase.
Yeah, I was quick with it because of how it happened. I knew my performance I knew by my last game I was getting cut because I didn't play all over last 2 minutes. So after that, when that happens, good.
Yeah.
So I kind of accepted it. The 72 hours sucks waiting, but after that, I was like, all right, there's no point in worrying about anything that's going to change.
So you come back to Oklahoma, get all your stuff. What was the next step like? Like, what do you do?
Well, the blessed thing is I already have my real estate license. So
how?
Oh, so when I came back after the first year for all season, I just got my real estate license because I knew I wanted to do real estate.
Did someone encourage you to do that?
Actually, D did.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that is like the wise on. You're not kidding, dude.
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
Yeah. So D told me, he's like, why don't you get your real estate license? I was like, oh. It took me a month. No, it took me for a 90-hour course. It took to get done. It took me 3 times to take the test. So in all aspects, it took me like a month to get my full license, like to get paid, like to pay all the dues, to pick a brokerage.
Dude, what a beautiful way to like have a backup plan. I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't even know you needed a backup plan, but
Right.
you ended up getting a backup plan.
Right.
You know, because I think a lot of athletes, they even if they're going pro, like it's like, okay, well, I mean, this is what I'm going to do. So like, what a beautiful blessing to like have that as a backup plan to drive back to.
Yeah.
So you get back in Oklahoma, you jump on the real estate train. Is that whenever you met Wyatt, or how did that happen?
So I met Wyatt. Yes, I met Wyatt when I got my license. I just DM'd him. Humbling dude, great dude. I texted him. I actually DM'd him. DM'd him on social media. Didn't think nothing of it. I DM'd, to be fair, I DM'd like 5 people.
Right.
5 people.
But Wyatt, if you're watching this, you were the most important.
No, 100%. And honestly, I even told him this. I didn't think he was gonna respond back. And he DM'd me, hey, I'm sorry, I really don't see my messages like that, but I would love to meet you, talk to you. So we went to a restaurant. I'm not gonna wait on it. I went to a restaurant and we just sat down and talked. We connected like that. Yeah. During that meeting, after that little lunch interview, went to a showing for another client house, and I met another mentor of mine on that same meeting. Tracy, he's a builder. Tracy Williams. Love that dude. Golly dude too. He does so much for me too. So during that meeting, first meet ever, looking at a thing. It's how cool he is. Go see a $5 million house.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Like met another mentor of mine. Taught me about building. Walked around the house. Dope experience. And since then, he told me about the agency that time. During the time, he asked me if I wanted to join. I said, why? I joined the agency, joining you. Nice. Yeah. So no matter if you no matter if you stay with Keller Williams or he don't went to anybody else, I would have went with him.
I love that, dude.
So I would stay with the agency for the rest of my life as long as he's there.
So cool, dude. I love the fact that the people that you're surrounded with, these mentors that are coming into your life, you all recognize them as godly people, godly mentors, and that's so important to you. And you did for just stint, you got picked up by a Canadian team too, right?
Yes, Canadian for Saskatchewan.
Did you end up making it up there? Like, what was that like? Was that rant? Like, were you kind of like, man, I'm going to start doing real estate, and then you got a call?
Actually, what first happened, I went to the UFL.
Okay.
Went to UFL first. Got cut from there. Okay, cool. And Canada called me, and then that's when I went up there. I went up there I went to Saskatchewan, Regina. I want to say for 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. No, literally for 2 weeks because rookie camp was 2 weeks, and they got cut after rookie camp.
It's crazy, dude. Were you in the process of kind of growing real estate, and then you got called up to do it, and that's what happened, or?
If you call real quick. I was in the starting. So I was in the grunt work, doing things like taking videos, trying to get people, calling people. I was in a hard work of it. So I was growing it. Was I making a lot of progress in it? Probably not, but it was definitely while I was getting started for sure.
It's cool, dude. And so now you're doing real estate. Do you have are you doing listings? Are you doing what are you?
Actually, man, praise the Lord. God has blessed me with my first listing.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
It literally came on the market for less, I would say 2 days ago.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How much time did it take for you to get to that point?
To the actual point, like to here when I first got my license, 6 months.
6 months.
So I first got my license and when I first got the actual paper, my first brokerage, it was December. December is when I actually got it. Everything happened. I came back in May. So in May, when I got back in May from the CFO, my last thing. Now from May to now is when
That's crazy. Dude, one thing that I really appreciate about your story is you've had all of these short moments of like to where you could have given up.
100%.
Completely.
100%.
Like real estate, like, dude, you're coming out and dude, just the way that God has shown up. And I know that, we briefly talked about, I was kind of like, what does the future look like for Kennedy Brooks? And I know real estate is something you're passionate about, but you did talk about potentially giving it one more go.
So one of my things is that I want to let the Lord take me where he needs to go. I understand that I have my own aspirations and my own dreams, my own goals. But at the end of the day, it's the Lord's plan. It's the Lord's plan, it's the Lord's guidance, and we just pray and see what he gives us. And at the end of the day, I want it. I want a chance. The Lord allows me to do that. I'll be blessing. It'll be a blessing, but at the same time, if you don't let me do it, it'll also be a blessing. Because no matter what it is, he's going to have me do better than I expect.
I love that, dude. Just really letting God guide you and put you where. Now, if you felt called, what would that process look like getting back into shape or getting back into the position to where you'd even be ready?
Well, just going to really just go down and get back to the beating grind to it. Eating right, since I know how to do that now. Eat right, work out 2 times a day. Go from lifting in the morning or whatever. It's going to look like something like lifting and conditioning at some point each every day. And then recovery on top of that, eating right. And then getting myself back in the game. That's going to take around 2 months, 2 or 3 months. This is nothing Nothing crazy. I've been doing it all my life. I can definitely get myself back in shape easily.
Are you planning on doing that?
Yeah, so the goal is to do that, and or allows me to play. I'll probably be through the FL
Okay.
league again, and if I get a call to there, try out again. Gratefully make the team. Have a great season. Gratefully get an opportunity to go to a training camp. Gratefully make the team this time. Have a 4-5 season. Have a 4-5-year career in the NFL.
Dude, well, let me tell you something. I have sat across the table from some millionaires.
Yeah.
I've met some billionaires. I've met quite a few people in my life. And I'll tell you something.
Mm.
If you feel called to do it, and you want to do it based off of the perseverance and the amount of humility you have in your life,
Right.
you can do it.
Yeah.
If you start telling yourself every single day, I can do this. If you start telling yourself every single day, I can do things through Christ who strengthens me.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly believe that you want to give it one last go,
Mm-hmm.
I know you can do it, dude.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not a doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact you can do it.
Right.
Because the one biggest contributing factor that, as I listen to your story and we culminate here at the end, is the fact that God taught you humility and you chose to accept the humility. Now that you've chosen to accept it, the beautiful thing about humility and the beautiful thing about the death of ego, like getting closest to who you are truly made to be, is the fact that you then get rid of any of this pressure of being perfect, any of this pressure of needing to perform for other people, because you're performing for an audience of one, which is an audience of all.
Yes.
And so,
you in the Lord,
dude, you can do this.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, I will say it on this podcast.
Yeah.
I think that if you want to do this, I think if you want to get back into it, I think if you start telling yourself every single day that you're going to do it, I think God's going to honor that. There's no reason why not. I mean, I watched you whenever it came to doing my ab exercises with me, even though you're still sore a week later.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but dude, I know that you've got the power to do it. And I know that God dwells inside of you and that you can do whatever if it's through God's power. And so I believe in you, man. I think you've got a beautiful story. I think that the amount of humility that you've shown, I think the amount of just perseverance that you've shown, I think the amount of ups and downs, I think God's really going to honor that with just a significant story of redemption and turnaround. And I can't wait until you and I sit down in another year or two and we have this discussion again to see what has happened in Kennedy Brooks' life, because I think that it's going to be an absolute amazing next 2 years of your journey.
Yeah.
I see.
I see it. Yeah, that's what I pray for. That's what I believe. It's one of the verses that I look at and I remember, Matthew 17:20. Once you have faith the size of a mustard seed, nothing's impossible to you. That's what the Lord says it. Word is true. So as long as I have the faith of a mustard seed, which is super small, and I got more than faith in that now. So anything's possible. And since I've been doing that, since I've been thinking like that, less things been happening in my life. So I'm gonna keep it going, keep believing, keep having my faith, keep God and keep trusting, keep leaning, no matter it's good, no matter it's bad. He's my world, he's my light, and I'm to praise him no matter what, talking about him no matter what, and just be bold in Christ.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. Kennedy, dude, this has been just a phenomenal conversation.
Yes, sir. I love it. We need to do this more.
We will. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. And summary. So I got 2 questions for you.
Let's go.
Are you a book reader?
I am, actually.
If there was one book that you could recommend, if someone's listening to this, they love the podcast, they love the insight you're giving. If there's one book that you could recommend to someone to read, what would that book be and why?
It's crazy. I actually have the book in my car, in my bag. Keep it with me. I'm done with it. But finding your significance, saying that right. Basically, finding your purpose, the Lord. Find your value in the Lord. And I say I have found my value in the Lord. It will help you. Perfectionist issues, you have any ego, if you have any shaming, doubting, open your eyes up and it will tell you, it will let you be honest not only to the Lord, but to yourself, and just tell you that not only that the Lord loves you, He will take care of you. You are a citizen of heaven, and he will protect you in every possible way. And truly believe that, truly understand that, you will have so much peace. Just open doors for you. Give you so much love, not only just for yourself, but to give to others. That is something that that's something that I love to do. I love to spread the word. I love to talk about God, and joy just to be able to be on this podcast and just talk about God. So that's something that book, I'm not done with it. I'm sorry, but I read through 8 chapters already, like five chapters short. That book, especially after all I've been through, has opened my eyes up. So I am so blessed to be on that book.
I love that, dude. I love it. If there was one person that has significantly impacted you on this journey of humility, who would that person be and why?
Coach Woods. You won't see this until I send it to you, so I'm gonna have to send this to you. He is a strength coach, and I never told him. I wanted to say this on the podcast. He was a strength coach at the Eagles, and he's the man. He's the Lord, the person that put in my life to get me journey of Christ, following my faith in the Lord seriously. He is the man that got it started. He is the shepherd. He is the person that got his fellow sheep to follow in the Lord. And dude, godly man, humble man. He brings so much. It's one of those examples that Lord is like, say your purpose, follow your purpose. He's one of those.
I love
That
that.
the Lord follows purpose. Going to Olympics coach to Japan with his family to now an Eagle strength coach. So he is a blessing man. So I talk to him here and now and then. I talked to him last week, tell him everything. Be at my wedding. I'm letting you know now. This dude will be at my wedding. Life for the rest of my life.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
So good. I love those 2 questions.
Yeah.
If you were going to, after this conversation and all this reflection, if there's someone listening to this and they were like, man, like, I just, whenever they feel like they're in a moment of getting humbled.
Yeah.
Right. In 60 seconds, if you were going to look at the camera, speak into the microphone, and tell that person how to use that humility for strength, what would you tell them?
Dude, I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. I can't give you exact verse, but it's in Philippians. It's Philippians. Read Philippians and read James. It tells you when trials come, smile. Because when trials come, it's testing your faith. And when you're testing your faith, you're perfect. And perfect, you'll be lacking nothing. So I can't tell you which book it is. I'm sorry. I know it's bad on me. But it's either Philippians or in James. And read that and just smile when adversity comes. When adversity comes, like I said, you're testing your faith. And you're testing your faith, you're lacking nothing when it's done. Let the process go through. Let it be humbling. And once you're gone through it, going through that bad spill, it'll reap your harvest. I'm trying to tell you, harvest. Trust in the Lord, and it all will happen.
I love that, dude.
Yes, sir.
Kennedy, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir.
What's your prediction for OU this season going to the SEC?
I'm being totally honest, man. I think they're going undefeated. I love my Oklahoma Sooners. They can do it. Texas has nothing on them. Bama has nothing on them. Georgia got nothing on them. They are doing great things. I have faith in the train staff, coaching staff, on our defense, offense. Do it. Have faith. Not on those Sooners that like, oh, things going bad. I'm trying to tell you. Don't forget what Bob Stoops did. A horrible season before he won the national championship. Let it go through. Let's go get the SEC spot.
I love it. I love the faith. I believe in it. Crimson and cream.
There we go.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate the conversation. Of course. Well, it's Adam on the Backpack Theory podcast. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.
Peace.